CB on the mic. World Rule Talk. Yeah. CB break it down, yeah, the host with the vision. From the classics to the new, every film get precision. Obscure reels hitting gems, yeah, we dig in the vault. Every frame get examined, every angle we talk. From the old school grain to the high def shine. Indie flicks to the hits, yeah, we cover all time. If it's cinema gold, then you know we gon' say, hit subscribe, tap in, let the critics all play. Yeah, film talk strong, never fading away. World Rule Talk forever and a day longer.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy C. to the B. coming at y'all once again with another movie review. And today we're going to be talking about Mortal Kombat 2. But this is part 2 for my review of that movie. This is the spoilers. And if you haven't seen the movie, I suggest you don't watch this. If you're interested in, what's going on, especially if you haven't seen the trailers and nothing like that, do not watch this review at all. But I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna be a little more critical in this one. The first one, I was kind of struggling to get through it, without mentioning certain things and all of that. But in this one, I'm just gonna tell you flat out on certain parts I liked and parts I didn't like. You know what I'm saying? I'm mainly going to be talking about the fights in this one. So, again, if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want the movie spoiled, I suggest you leave right now. I'll give you a minute. Alright, you gone? Okay. So, let's talk about this thing. Alright. So, the movie, it opens up, and I kind of missed the first part of it because I got there kind of late, you know what I'm saying? We was in traffic and everything like that, so I missed the first maybe 5 or 6 minutes. I'm not really sure, but I did miss the part where King Jarrett got killed, where he was killed by Shao Kahn, and he gave Katana the necklace or whatever. I missed all of that. I came in on the parts where Johnny Cage was filming a movie, and then next thing you know, it showed him at this, he was at the Comic-Con, and nobody came over to his booth. It was a sad looking sight, man. I can't even front, because they depicted Johnny Cage in this movie as a washed up actor. And so, right when he was packing up to go home, Raiden and Sonya approached him about the tournament. And at first, he wasn't trying to hear any of that. He thought they were cosplayers and fans. But it turns out, he actually believed them when Raiden displayed his powers to open up a portal. And so he decided to just go ahead and go through the portal with him. And so at this point, Sonya's talking to him, telling him everything that happened not long before that. And then when she mentioned the fact that Kung Lao was killed, he then, decided that he didn't want no parts of this tournament because he thought it was just going to be like a point thing. You know what I'm saying? And so, after a lot of, they was begging him to stay and all of that, trying to convince him to stay. But, there was, he just wanted to go back. So Raiden sent him back. And Ed Boon makes an appearance in this movie, a cameo as a bartender when he's in the bar. But I just want to skip over to the fights because that's what this movie was all about. You know what I mean? That's what I was looking forward to, was the fights in this movie, the fatalities and everything like that. So the first fight I want to talk about, and they're going to be kind of out of order, but the first fight I do want to talk about was between Katana and Johnny Cage. Because he winds up coming back. And the fight with those two, I kind of really wasn't feeling it like that, to be honest with you, because I'm like, Johnny Cage may have gotten one or two hits off on Katana, but it was a one-sided fight. But the reason why she didn't kill him is because she was working for Raiden that whole time anyway. And she had to make the fight look legit because Shao Kahn was right there watching. So both of them got teleported back to their, respective sides. And so the next fight I want to talk about, and this is the fight that everybody mentions when they talk about it in their reviews. It was the fight between Kung Lao and Liu Kang. So before that fight took place, Kung Lao came out of nowhere, threw his hat, and it slit Raiden's throat. You know what I'm saying? Creating an opening to steal his powers for the amulet. Because they bought Quan Chi, you know what I'm saying? He was in this film, and he brought Kano back to life. That was one of the fighters he brought back to life. Him, Sindel, and Kung Lao brought all of them back to life. But he brought Kano back to get the amulet from him. You know what I'm saying? That was the purpose that he served for this. And so they created the opening for Raiden, when he got his throat slit, to remove his power. And then when they got the power in the amulet, you know what I'm saying, Quan Chi, basically gave the amulet to Shao Kahn, and Shao Kahn absorbed the power of the amulet into his own body. So now he is literally immortal. And the one thing I did not like about this film, now y'all know in the earlier games, Mortal Kombat 2, 3, Ultimate 3, Trilogy, you know what I'm saying, whatever, Shao Kahn was the big bad. You know what I'm saying? He was the end all be all. And I mean, he pissed me off in the games, especially in MK3. But in this movie, they made it look like he was a contender, and Shang Tsung was more of the big bad. You know what I'm saying? Even though he didn't really do anything like that, but he was just going around, killing people. So the next fight, though, I do want to talk about, like I was saying, between Kung Lao and Liu Kang. A lot of people thought that was the best fight in the movie. It was a pretty good fight. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? That whole fight, Liu Kang was trying to, get to Kung Lao to try to get him to, come back. But there was no coming back for him because he was basically a revenant. So most of the match, Kung Lao was utilizing his hat, throwing it at Liu Kang, trying to hit him with it. But to no avail. And Liu Kang, he was forced to put him down, basically. You know what I'm saying? And so right before Kung Lao died, he told him that he was going to find a way to save him. And so Liu Kang was teleported back to, his side. And then the next fight I want to talk about was between your boy Cole Young versus Shao Kahn. And I think I know why they did this. It's just the thought. I feel like they put him up against Shao Kahn is because they wanted a reason why he died. You know what I'm saying? Because there was no way that Cole was going to kill off Kahn anyway. Now, I will say this. If Kahn, because I feel like they made Shao Kahn into a joke in this movie. A little bit. If he didn't have that amulet absorb, the powers of the amulet absorb, in his body, yeah, he would have been done for by Cole, because Cole was just poking him up, you know what I'm saying, in that fight. Cole was getting the best of him in the beginning. But then the fight, it turned around really quickly. And a lot of these fights were rushed. I'm going to say that too. But the way they took out Cole was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of us didn't care for Cole in the first movie. But remember, in the first film, you know what I'm saying, he was fighting for his daughter and his wife. He even took out Goro, for Christ's sake. You know what I'm saying? And so he went through all of that in the first film, right? Helping Scorpion take down Sub-Zero. And I'm talking about all of that. And so he was a promising champion in this movie. But the way Khan did him, it was so messed up. Smashed his head in with the Warhammer. You know what I'm saying? And that was it. And then to add insult to injury, he pushed him into the acid, because they was fighting in the acid pit stage from Mortal Kombat 2. And I ain't even gonna lie, I feel like that stage, it looked pretty good. It looked really good. You know what I'm saying? But I thought he was gonna knock Cole into the pit. But nah, smashed his head in, pushed his body into the acid. And so that was one or two fights that they lost. But the next fight, I was kind of impressed by it. I can't even front. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. The fight between Jade and Jax, cause I'm a fan of the bow staff. So you know what I mean. I think the chick that played Jade or whatever, you know what I'm saying. She's in a lot of other stuff too, but a lot of people were bothered by the fact that she was bald. I was scratching my head trying to figure it out when I seen the first trailers or whatever. But actually watching the movie, I forgot all about it. It didn't bother me at all. But you know, Jax, he won that fight. That fight, it didn't last too long either. You know what I'm saying? The fight was rushed, and I get it. The movie, you know, you have to cram in all of these characters and their fights in 2 hours. I understand that. But I'm just saying, these fights were just rushed, man. So Jax, he won his fight, you know what I'm saying, and spared her, of course, because he wasn't going to kill her. All because he said that, you know, Katana spared Johnny Cage. So they both were teleported out of the arena. And so the next fight, Sonya versus Sindel. And I feel like in this movie, Sindel was just a footnote. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like there was really no importance to her character at all. And Sindel is an important character. You know what I mean? If you know the lore. But I felt like she was just a filler fight with Sonya, because they were fighting at the Pit 1 stage from the original Mortal Kombat. And when I first heard about that, I thought they were going to be fighting on top of the pit, you know what I'm saying? But they were at the bottom of the pit. And as they were talking and fighting and all that, you see the spikes. They start coming up out of the ground. And so Sonya won because she took, you know, Sindel and basically like pushed her head into a spike and killed her that way. And yeah, Sindel displayed her scream, you know what I'm saying? But that was really it as far as her getting the upper hand like that. Sonya was shooting out her rings and everything, but yeah, Sindel got washed. You know what I mean? Once again, short fight. So I want to move on to, you know, Johnny Cage versus Baraka, because when they confronted Baraka, you know, trying to get his help, you know what I'm saying, to get in, you know, get inside of, you know, Khan's temple or whatever, you know what I'm saying, or the underground. The fight between Baraka and Johnny Cage, I said it was funny, you know what I'm saying, it was hilarious because of the way the fight was happening. You know what I'm saying? Johnny Cage was getting washed all throughout that fight. And then it was because of, you know what I'm saying, Jax and Sonya. Sonya told him to become an actor. And then he started getting the upper hand, you know what I'm saying, out of nowhere. And he beat Baraka. So Baraka went from like this vicious fighter, you know what I'm saying, this vicious villain or whatever, to a comedic sidekick. Like after that, he was just a funny character. And I can't even lie, the stuff that he was saying had me chuckling after the fight. But that fight lasted a pretty good bit, you know what I mean? So it wasn't too good, but yeah, he became a comedic sidekick after that. You know what I mean? But the thing that I was like really like, what was the fight between Liu Kang, Shao Kahn, and Sonya. So he was washing both of them up at the same time. I mean, Liu Kang got some hits in, don't get me wrong. Because when I was watching, you know what I'm saying, the fight between Liu Kang and Shao Kahn, I was thinking about MK2 the whole time. You know what I'm saying? MK2 and 3. And I'm like, yo. And I kind of accidentally spoiled this fight for myself when I was watching one review on this movie. And I knew, you know, Liu Kang was going to die. But I was like, man, I wish he would have won, man. And it turns out he was not the chosen one. That kind of had me feeling some type of way, because I'm like, come on, man. In the first movie, you made Cole Young the main character. Liu Kang took a back seat. In this movie, he pretty much made Katana the main character, and once again he took the back seat. So when Shao Kahn killed off Liu Kang, you know what I'm saying, he pretty much told him that he's not the chosen one, and his whole purpose there was to save Kung Lao, and he disappeared in flames. You know what I'm saying? And that was that. It had me scratching my head. I'm like, huh? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? So, you know, pretty much after Sonya got knocked out, that was it. You know what I'm saying? Earthrealm lost until Katana, you know, basically told him that she denounces him. And, it turns out she was fighting for Earthrealm the whole time. So now the fight came down between her and him, while Johnny Cage and Kano were in the Netherrealm, because Raiden used the last of his powers to send them to the Netherrealm to get the amulet from Noob Sabat, and they needed Scorpion's help to do that. So they came across Hanzo Hasashi. He was at like this Japanese garden, you know what I'm saying, that he apparently created. And so he wasn't interested in helping them, you know what I'm saying, get the amulet back or whatever, until they told him that Noob was down there. And then, everything changed. The whole garden disappeared into the Netherrealm. And so now, he was all in. And so the fight between Scorpion and Noob, Scorpion was getting the best of him. I felt like he was just, he was tapping his jaw. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Noob Sabat became a joke character from Mortal Kombat 9, you know what I'm saying, on PS3. You know what I mean? And then MK 11. You know what I mean? The only game that he had, real shining, in my opinion, was near the end of MK1. You know what I'm saying? The expansion pack, Chaos Reigns, where he fought what you call it, you know what I'm saying, my boy. But in this movie, Noob was getting Scorpion was just, you know what I'm saying, he was watching him. And then his clones, they were fighting Kano and Johnny Cage. And so the whole purpose again for them going down there was to get the amulet. And Noob, you know what I'm saying, he was fighting off Scorpion and Kano. You know what I'm saying? Because they was combining their powers to try to destroy that amulet and him. And then Johnny Cage came out of nowhere and did the shadow kick. And that's what finally destroyed the amulet. So Raiden, he got his powers back. And he pretty much, you know what I'm saying, because Shang Tsung came in there and he was about to kill Raiden, but he was unsuccessful. And so Katana, she winds up killing Khan, because when the amulet was destroyed, the power that was absorbed in his body disappeared. So she was able to kill him. And, you know what I'm saying, she took his helmet off and showed the people of Outworld of what Khan really was, you know what I'm saying? And then she sliced him up, you know what I'm saying? She did him in. And that was it, you know what I'm saying? She became the queen of Outworld. And Jade became, you know what I'm saying, her left hand, her right hand. And so the only fighters that survived, you know what I mean, was Jade, Katana, Johnny Cage, Sonya, Raiden. You know what I mean? And Baraka decided to join them at the end. And this is the part that had me, it kind of pissed me off at the end. I ain't even gonna lie. The ending, I was telling my brother about this. So the ending was, you know what I'm saying, Raiden, he took Quan Chi in, you know what I'm saying? And so he was going to use Quan Chi to bring back everybody that was killed. And that was pretty much the end of the film. So they're going to do a third movie. I don't know when, but they're definitely going to do a third movie. what did I think about this film? So I feel like the fight with Katana and Shao Kahn, they definitely took that from MK11. You know what I'm saying? Where she became Katana Khan. And yeah, man. And I feel, again, this is how I feel. The movie for me, it gets a 6.5/7. I'm gonna give it a 7 to be generous. Generous, right? Excuse me. It wasn't a horrible movie like everybody's making it out to be. It wasn't horrible. Was it the best, you know what I'm saying, movie that came out this year so far? No, it wasn't. But the choreography was pretty good, you know what I'm saying? I felt like the actors, the actresses, you know what I'm saying, they did their thing with the choreography, you know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of work. And I know stunt doubles as well, but it takes a lot of work to get this stuff down, you know what I'm saying, on the big screen. But yeah, man, I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, well, people who are watching, hopefully you've seen the movie already. But if you're in here and you decided that you wanted to hear me ramble and yap because, you know what I'm saying, you haven't seen the movie and you've been hearing bad things about it, I mean, judge it for yourself. Me talking about it, you know, it's not the same thing as seeing it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you'll have a different opinion. Maybe my review wasn't detailed enough for you. You know what I mean? But yo, judge it for yourself. That's what I say. Don't sit there and let nobody, you know, ruin anything for you because, you know, their opinions might hold water to you. Like with me, you know what I'm saying? If somebody was telling me that something was bad, I'm going to go see it anyway and judge it for myself because that's just the type of person I am. So again, if you're in here and you sat back and listened, you know what I'm saying, to me talk about this whole thing, go see the movie anyway. You know what I mean? Kill some time, you know what I'm saying? On a Saturday, if you're bored, go check it out. But yeah, man, that's my review for MK2. And we will be back here next week again for another movie review. So stay tuned for that. Bad Boys 2. And I will talk to y'all later. All right? Peace.